Hi and welcome to Candle Making with Us. A huge thank you from us for buying our candle making kits, and we are really excited to bake candles with you in this video today. So I just quickly wanted to start through and explain everything that you have been sent, so you have some kind of idea what you're working with. So to start off with, we have 2 jars that we've given you. You have a smaller 200-gram size candle. The burn time on this size candle is about 35 to 40 hours. And you've got a 300-gram glass, which is like this size, just slightly bigger than the 200-gram, and this burns for about 70 to 75 hours for this size. Next up, you've got your wax, which is bagged up like this. You've got 2 bags. So the slightly smaller one, this one, will be for your 200-gram candle, and the slightly bigger one will be for your 300-gram candle. We have measured these out exactly right for you, so if you wanted to come back and make the second candle at a later date, then you can absolutely do so. If you wanted to make both, then you can melt both of the packs at once. Next, you've got your fragrance. You will have chosen your fragrance from our website, from our fragrances. So whichever fragrance you have chosen will be in this bottle. We put 50 grams of fragrance in there because that is split over your 2 jars. Next up, you've got a little measuring cup there as well. This is for your fragrance, so you can measure exactly how much to put in your larger jar and your smaller jar. Next up, we've got our dried botanicals. This again is depending on which fragrance you chose from our website. So we have the matching dried botanicals to match. So next up, you've got your wooden wicks. You've got a slightly smaller one and a slightly larger one. The smaller one will be for your 200-gram candle, as it's got a smaller surface. And then the slightly bigger one will be for your 300-gram candle, which has got a bigger surface. So we've measured those out exactly right for you, so they burn perfectly in that size jar. Next up, we've got 2 small wooden stirrers. These are for when mixing your fragrance into your wax. You've then got 2 metal sustainers. These are for your wicks. You've then got 2 glue dots, which are again for the metal sustainers on your wicks. And lastly, you've got your labels as well. These are dependent on which fragrance you chose from our website. So today I have got Solace, our pink grapefruit and vanilla fragrance. So let's get straight into candle making. For the first step, you want to prep your glasses on your workspace, and you want to grab your wooden wicks, which look like this. As I mentioned, you've got a slightly smaller one in width and a slightly bigger one in width. If you make sure the smaller one goes into your smaller jar and the slightly wider one goes into your larger jar. So to keep those wicks in place, you really want to use your metal sustainers, which look just like this. So if you pop your metal sustainer on a flat surface, you then want to push the wick straight down and it will hold it up just like this. So now that your wicks are prepped and they are stood in their metal sustainers, what you want to do next is grab your glue dots, which look something like this. They are double-sided, so you just want to pull one off and take the other side off. And then just pop that straight on the bottom of your metal sustainer, just like that. Once you've got your glue dot on the bottom of your metal stand, what you want to do is just put it as central as you can into the glass. So now that your glasses are all prepped and your wicks are stuck in, what you want to do next is choose which candle you're going to start with. We normally start with the larger candle because it takes longer to dry. So on this occasion, we're going to start with this candle, and this size candle needs 20 ml of fragrance. So with your measuring pot, you want to put it up to 20 ml. So now that you've poured your 20 ml into your measuring jug of fragrance, it's time to get the wax ready. What we say to melt your wax at home is to double boil over the hob, as it's just really easy to do and it quickly melts the wax. So if you want to pause the video here and go and melt your wax, that would be perfect. Come back when you're ready to join us for the next step. So we've got a little cheat here, and we use our wax melting machine, which just melts the wax for us exactly like it would do on the double boil on your hob. So it's exactly the same principle. What you want to do is get your jug and just fill the wax up to 300 grams on the side. So now that your wax is filled up to 300 ml on your jug, we can now add in your 20 ml of fragrance. What you want to do next is take your wooden stirrer and give it a good old stir. This just makes sure that the fragrance is seeped into the wax and all mixed together. Now you're going to pour your wax into your jar. We just say to do very slowly to make sure it doesn't spill. So next you need to allow a few minutes just for your wax to slightly dry. What you want to see is it start to become a little bit white just around the edges. This means it's the perfect time to put on your dried botanical toppings. Next, when you're wanting to make your 200 gram candle, you will need to put 15 ml of fragrance in this one, as it's slightly smaller. So if you fill your fragrance up to the line of 15, so next, now that you have got your 200 ml of wax, what you want to do is the same process again and pop your fragrance oil into your wax. And then just give it a good stir again, making sure the fragrance is fully mixed. So once you're stirred and you're ready to pour, you can again pour that straight into your jar. So when your candles are ready to be topped with your botanical toppings, you will notice, as I said, a small ring around the top of the candle which has just slightly gone white. So that is the perfect time to start topping your candles. Feel free to top however you would like with your dried botanicals, but what we tend to do is do a crescent moon just on the left side of the candle. So lastly, I have just put the labels on the candles that was included in your kit, and the next step for me is to cut the wicks. However, we have already cut yours to size, so you should have just enough room about here. If you do have a slightly long wick, then we would suggest just using some scissors to cut them, so I'll show you how to do that now. So to cut them with scissors, if you don't have any wick trimmers at home, you just simply hold it and cut the scissors. You need to make sure you have about this much of the wick showing, that allows a perfect burn on there, and enough wick showing. So I'm just going to do the same for the second candle as well. Look, that is your candles all cut, all made and all topped. We hope you have enjoyed making candles with us. I'm going to speak to you a little bit about some candle care tips. So what we say to do on the first burn is to always allow a full melt pool. By this is what I mean, when you first light the candle and you only let it burn for half an hour, it's not going to reach a full melt pool, which means that it will start tunneling. So if you've had candles that tunnel where you've only got a small ring and the rest of the wax is not melting, then you haven't done the first burn long enough. So you need to allow about 1 to 2 hours on the first burn for your candle to reach a full melt pool, which means that all of the melted wax on the top has reached the edges again. So that will take, like I say, roughly around 1 to 2 hours. So make sure when you first light your candle that you do allow that time frame. If you only have half an hour, then I wouldn't recommend lighting it just yet. Secondly, if you have a slightly high flame and there is black coming off of the flame, then we recommend to break a little bit of the black soot off the top of the wick. So to break the black soot off the wick, what you need to do is just blow the candle out, let it cool for a minute, and just pinch off some of the black soot that collects on top of the wick. Then relight and you'll notice the flame is lower and back to its normal flame height. Lastly, if you have any other problems with your candle or things that you would like to know, then we do have a candle care section available on our website, which is www.finestcandles.com. So definitely go on there and check out our candle care advice, as well as our Instagram. We've got loads of videos and candle care tips on there as well. So that is Finest Candles on Instagram and Facebook. So you can definitely check those out as well. Lastly, we hope you have enjoyed learning a new skill and making some candles today with us. It's been a pleasure chatting to you guys on here, and I hope that you love your candles.